Man, what a win. What a win for the guys. You know, this was about as big of a team win as I've ever seen. Proud of each and every one of them that was on the court. They all delivered in their own way, whether it was rebounding, whether it was scoring, whether it was passing, whether it was boxing out, whatever it was. Team win, just a great team win. And like I told them in the locker room, I'm just so proud of them because I'll say the same thing in wins that I say when we lose. Like, it's not going to be easy playing for me because I demand a lot and I have a standard. And, I think, we see that. We see that, and tonight we seen that when we lock in, for 40 minutes, even, without our best player, and that's why I say it's the ultimate team win because our best player played 4 minutes. You know what I mean? And, it was easy. It could have been easy for the guys to fold, and just like with anything, as you're trying to figure it out, when you're used to a guy being out there and you're riding with him and the things that he do, we had some adjustment periods. We went down 11, but, I give our guys credit. They never folded during that whole period. They kept coming back. Miles kept us going, had a really big first half. Kyle played well, scored the ball. And then, I thought Ty really played well. He didn't play small at all tonight. He played really big. And, I keep saying this and about him. And, Eby is, he's one of those guys that, he do and does whatever you ask of him. You know what I mean? Ty as well. It's not hard for those guys to get bit minutes and then all of a sudden now they got to play major minutes. I think it's a testament to them working when nobody's watching, because again, for them to come in there and play the minutes that they did in a game of that magnitude, that was huge. And obviously at the end, Nate made that big shot, and he made several big shots. Like I said, again, what a game. Happy for these kids. And somebody sent me my own quote, and I said it on the ACC weekly. I said I got a weird team. I love my team, but I got a weird team. And I think like I told them again, we want to drive the speed limit. We don't want to be the car that comes and get mad and get road rage, and then we go speed around the car and do all that stuff. We want to drive the speed limit because when you drive the speed limit, that's consistency. That's consistency. You know what I mean? And that's what we're trying to get. But what a great win. Happy for these guys.
Questions?
It looked like in the beginning of the game, they were trying to have Baycott take over the game, feeding him down low a lot. Was your game plan to double him down low a lot? You did. It seemed like you did a decent job on him throughout the game.
Yeah, no, we definitely, we were definitely going to double him. We wanted to mix up our defense. And now Carolina's a good team. They're one of the few, along with Duke and Clemson and a lot of teams, North Carolina State. They're one of the few. Teams that, Boston College, well, I don't want to forget nobody just in case we play somebody else again. I don't want to forget nobody. I don't want to forget nobody. I don't want any bulletin board material. But, they have, to have an All-American on the inside and out, that's tough. Like, I've been All-American and I played with another All-American. But we were guards. I haven't played with a not a big, not have a 1-2 punch. So it makes it hard. Really good supporting cast around those two guys, and we knew that they were going to feed Baycott. We kind of anticipated that. So we wanted to mix it up. Yes, we did do a lot of doubling. We wanted to protect our guys. You only had 15 fouls, and then once Bai got injured. Then we had to protect EB, picked up 3 in the first half. Ty's a bit undecided. We knew he was gonna fight him, but then Tafara with his length, he helped us out a lot. So it was a team effort. But we did try to double him. We mixed in zone. We did a whole lot of different things out there today.
It was interesting. They got you guys in some foul trouble, but you actually had the key play there with getting Cadeau out with the. You seemed like you guys baited them out of the timeout to he was hand checking and grabbing on Nate, and you guys saw that and got him to foul out. He's their instigator. I guess kind of what goes into that philosophy of knowing for Nate who's a freshman to put him in that situation where he's got to draw a foul and all that.
And unless Nate told you something different, I don't think Nate even knew he had 4 fouls. I'm just taking a guess. You know what I mean? But I did. In the second half, the one thing about it, we started getting to the hole. They started giving us calls, so we got in the penalty early. That helped us out a lot. When you can get in the penalty early, and you can go and shoot free throws, that really helps you. But I just think that we did a really good job. As the game went on, I thought we controlled it. Up until the end, we had some mistakes, and we gotta get better in some of those late game situations. But I thought we controlled the game. We did a really good job, and Nate was in the middle of it. And I think that when you have Kyle, Kyle was going, and he really did a good job. And I think that what Nate does is I think that. He's a balancing act for Kyle, and Kyle's a balancing act for him. I think that they've been playing well together, and, that really helps us out. And then when Miles can get going the way he was going today and be a threat, that helps out as well.
Chad.
You have an update on Bai?
They said he had a head injury. Now I'm not for sure. What that means, and so that's all I was told.
And then winning this game, beating Duke, Mississippi State at home. Do you have sort of this vision of what this will be moving forward for Georgia Tech basketball, where this is a really dangerous place for teams to come play?
Yeah, I think it can be. The biggest thing for me is that I want to build consistency. I don't want. I love everything that comes with it. With beating those teams, but I don't want it to be us only getting up for those type of teams. We got to get up for everybody. If that's what you want in your program is consistency. You gotta live it every day. And so that comes with working when nobody's looking, and then that comes with, as you get an expectation. Honestly, you don't get scared of it. I think a lot of times, you can get scared of it. It's hard. And I watch, I know everybody in here watches a lot of NBA, and I tell you this, and me and Bonzi, we always talk about it. And so when I was in Portland, the Utah Jazz, we was in Portland, Utah Jazz came off of going to 2 straight finals, losing to the Bulls. And so here was this young upstart team in Portland. It was a strike-shortened season, and everybody was like, we can't beat the Utah Jazz. We played them in the second round of the playoffs, and I'll never forget that series because it was the hardest series I've ever been in my life. Because to try to beat them, like Stockton them alone, like it was hard because you just couldn't beat them like that. Like you couldn't beat them. So it was hard. Like every game was hard. But we beat them. And when we beat them, I was 24, 25. That was the end. They broke that up. You know what I mean? And I'll never forget that series because that was the series that kind of took us this way. So to have the type of wins that we've had, hopefully now we can start to move that direction. There's belief. There has to be belief. And so when you're reiterating things, like you got to go back and think about these things. Because you can't say, well, I can't or whatever. No, you did it. You did it against these teams. So that's the biggest thing, and that's my biggest challenge. Is every day I always say, I guess I'm not scared to say it because most people, coaching is a lot of manipulation. You gotta know how to manipulate. You gotta know how to manipulate, right? It don't mean that you don't love every kid on your team and don't like them, whatever. But coaching is manipulation. You got to get them at times, sometimes to trick themselves. You got to trick them. You got to trick them to do the right thing. So that's a part of it. So each and every day I try to come up with something new.
Coach, a lot of times this season you've talked about, in losses, guys looking at one another, that brotherhood and holding his brother accountable when it comes to losses. Hey, getting your brother back, you have his back. When it comes to a game like this, how much of that did you see in that game tonight? And how do you, even though every game is its own story, how do you take some of that from this game and spread it throughout the rest of the season?
Man, that's a good question because I was trying to take some of that after the Duke game and then after the Clemson game. But I seen each other. I seen those guys looking at each other in the eye, and I got on them. I got on them pretty good after Virginia Tech. I was disappointed, and I was disappointed. It's a difference between not playing well and just being disappointed. I wasn't disappointed in performance. I just felt like I thought we played a little timid. You know what I mean? I'm like, man, why are we playing timid? You know what I mean? Like we done played against some really good teams. We shouldn't be scared of nobody. But I got on guys because, see, for me, it's like the carryover. So, I talked about it, I think maybe my last press conference from the home game, how we be in the huddle like this. I said, man, you got to put your hand to the sky. And I heard, God, man, put your hand to the sky. You know what I mean? You're starting to hear little things, and like, that means to me that they're buying in and they're hearing it. And when they're in the huddle, I seen less of, come on, man, come on, brother, you're supposed to do this. No, it's like, we got to do this. Okay, we got to do this. Hey, we got to get there. We got to help. It was more that. It was more conversation and dialogue. And you can hear the message. A lot of times when you start yelling and screaming, you can't hear the message. You know what I mean? And so I think they heard each other today, and they looked each other in the eyes, and I think that's why they got it done.
Earlier in the year, Nate struggled a little bit at the foul line. How big was it tonight when he had those 1-and-1s and they were trying to come back at you?
It was big. It was big. I'm happy for Nate. I never met a guy that's as good as he is that always say thank you, yes sir. Our nutritionist, he went to her son's game last night. It's the NIL era, baby. Nobody going to watch no kids play that's not theirs. And so Nate is Nate is ascending, and I would say, I hope you guys enjoy watching him because, he's pretty good. That shot he made tonight, I've seen a lot of shots. That shot right there, they making those in State Farm. I'm just saying. That's where they making those shots at.
If this has already been pointed out, I apologize, but that is their Carolina's lowest shooting percentage of the season. Not by much, but it's the lowest.
I tell you, these guys really did a great job, collectively. Like I said, they bought in, and it's not easy, Again, even R.J. Davis, what I told him, on the board, I told him as a scorer, I was a scorer. I could score the ball. If you're a scorer, you want to score with the least resistance. I don't care who you are. If somebody not going to press you, they're going to let you shoot. You want to score you hated getting pressed. You hated people, getting in you. It wasn't that you couldn't score, but you just didn't want to work as hard. As if you can do something to get the same result without working, cool. We made Davis work tonight. He had 28 points on 24 shots. That's the next highest shot total was Ingram, with 14, and then Cormac had 14 shots. But I'm just saying that's a lot of shots, So I thought we did a good job on him, making him taking tough contested shots. He's gonna make some. But I think the best thing about even the ones he made, we took the ball out and we came up the court. That's another thing as I'm trying to, instill, the confidence in the guys to get them to know where we're trying to go is sometimes, man, dudes just make good shots. Man, take the ball out and let's go up the court. We can't have those hangovers. We didn't have a lot of those tonight on either end of the floor, and I think that helped us. It was a next play mentality. It was, and that was really big for us being able to play a complete game.
Anything else? Kelly, if you want to wrap us up.
Probably not a lot of people here know this. You played with Hubert Davis for a year in Toronto, and just kind of what's your relationship like with him? I imagine that was maybe a little interesting element for you coaching against someone you played with. You know what? Hubert
was really quiet, and we played together for 1 year. But he was always a good dude. We talked a lot, and Hubert is one of the best human beings I've ever met. I was fortunate as a player to play with guys like him. He could really shoot the ball. His team probably don't even really understand how much he can shoot the ball. I'm probably the only coach in America, college coach, that played with, I think they're the top 2 shooters in the history, percentage-wise, of the NBA, and that's Steve Kerr and Hubert Davis. And you know what? I only played with them both for 1 year.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.
Thanks.
Busy.